with a kaleidostic broom handle. So it's like going to upgrade your handle. That's one way to do it. Okay, so we are going to be working with some dyed NURL. And so our broom corn is going to look like a couple different colors. We're going to be working with some teal colored that is double dipped, and we're going to be using some purple that's double dipped. Broom wheel on here, so I'm going to turn that up. It's just an easy place to tap a broom nail in. What I do is I go, okay, 4. And then I tap my broom nail in. You don't want this to go all the way in, because you want a little bit of it showing there to grab that string. And the reason you do that is because you don't want that broom corn to slide off, and that's what keeps it from doing that. So you can see that I have all these lovely colors on my broom spindle. And I'm going to do an overhand knot just on the end. Okay, and then I want to do a slip knot that slips on the long side, not the short side. So I'm going to make a loop, hold that X with my thumb, turn it upside down, and grab the long string and bring that through. Now as I do that, I'll kind of tighten this up just a little bit too, because I don't need it real long, and sometimes it will not tighten up the way I would like. So I am right-handed. And that means for me that I want my working hand, or my right hand, to the outside of the table. My table's over here on the left. I want to put my broom corn underneath there as I wrap this on. Okay, so I'm going to tighten up my spindle a little bit. So I want my free hand away from the table, whatever that is for you, if that's right hand or left hand. So see, I've tightened this up. And I'm going to wrap for about 3. I'm going to bring the camera up just a little bit. Wrap for 3, and then I'm going to start adding some broom corn. So I'm going to experiment a little bit here today with, and you notice that that broom corn is coming off the top of the spindle and then coming towards me. I want to wrap it the other way. Alright, so I'm going to play a little bit here and see what I can come up with. I want to try doing some hurl or processed broom corn on the bottom and then build it up. I have no idea how this is going to work, so we're going to try it. The one thing that happens with hurl is when you put it on, you should really put it in small pieces. And what I like to do is take those small pieces and just stack them alternately on each other. Well, let's see how this works. So in this case scenario, we don't need to get the hurl wet, but we will have to get the NURL wet. That's coming up. So I kind of want to just spread that around and then to wrap it over. A little bit loose on my spindle. And try it again. So because this is going to be covered up, it's not critical that these all line up, but that's what you're shooting for. Okay. I'm going to take another little bundle. Okay, and that should do it, I think. Well, maybe one more little bundle. So that was about 4 or 5 to make that come around. And when I do those little separations, let's call them, what I do is I try to think like spaghetti servings, one little spaghetti serving, and that works for me. Alright, so I'm going to put this on for about 4 wraps, and you notice that I'm wrapping towards the top of the broom. And I can see where my wraps begin because I can see this first one here. So I'm going to do one more wrap. So it's kind of a wrap and pull. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to put on my natural, and this is going to be a round one. Here's just my natural, and see that this is NURL. And I always get NURL and HURL confused, but I got to thinking, okay, NURL is like the neck or the stem. So NURL neck, HURL is processed. That worked for me. So I'm not braiding yet, so I don't have to worry about if I have an odd or an even amount. And so I want to put that just kind of in between the stem and the broom corn. Because this is not going to be braided, I want to use the shorter stems. I'm going to bring that over, give it a crease. I just kind of grabbed, so. And usually I always add in twos. I think it's habit because I usually braid the top. And we're going to get to the braided top, but we're going to use that dyed NURL. Okay. You can see I keep shifting. Okay, and so a couple more. That's going to cover up that purple, but it's still kind of underneath, and that's what I wanted, like shades of purple. I'm going to get about 2 more in here. Well, maybe a couple more. So when you're sticking these in, they want to be close, but not jam-packed. You can see now that my broom's starting to get some fullness to it. And because I'm going to put another layer on here, and that gives me about 3 layers now, what I'm going to do, once I get about 4 wraps on this, is I'm going to clean off this edge and put my final one on so I can have a nice big braided top here. Okay, so I need my X-Acto, and I'm going to cut away from me. I'm going to cut this stuff off. Without nicking up my Alright, so now I'm going to land my Pretties, and I'm going to do that with, I'm going to alternate these. So I'm going to do a purple one. Bring it down here. See how I got that nice layered effect? And I'm going to put a teal one in. And the purple. Give it a little crease. And a teal. Okay, purple. You got the drill kind of, huh? And we're going to do that all the way around. Make sure that my order is right. You see how that broom's getting bigger now? So the bigger the broom, that's the more, you know, if you got really big hands, that works. If you don't, well, you might want to make it real thick because it's just more for you to grab around. And this is going to be pretty thick. So you don't have to do that first purl row with just the purple, but I just wanted to try it, so probably made for a thicker broom, but Whatever, that works. I think that's going to be cool. Now, one thing I did do is look to see if I have an odd or an even amount. So, let me put one more in there because I don't think I did that. So it means I'm going to have one purple next to each other, but that's all right. Okay, so now we wrap. And I probably want to do about, oh, 3 or 4 rows here. Oop. Get that tight. So this will be my 4th row. And I'm going to start my braid. And I can see where I started by looking right there. Okay, so then we start the braid. Remember, broomcorn doesn't mind going up and down, but it doesn't go side to side very well. So I'm going to dip it down. Use your finger, the magic finger on the left-hand side, and crease it. Bring it down underneath. Bring it over just a little bit and crease it. I can tell that one is a little crispy. So we'll baby him a little bit. Got to soak it a little bit longer. Now remember that your braid is only going to be as long as your shortest stem, or knurl, right? Ooh, hear that crack? I'm going to have to baby that one a little bit too. Nope, there it went. So I'll show you how you fix that. I'm just going to keep going around there. Oops, it really cracked it, didn't it? Take that stem, and we're going to actually cut it in half. Like that, and we're going to use half of that and lay that in there. All right, so that's under. This has got to be over. I'm going to pull that over, and you think, wow, that looks kind of not right, Jill. What happens when this dries, you can pop that right off. Okay, and that's how you fix on that bus. Always a good thing to know because they don't all soak up the same. Everyone's a little different. Everyone takes dye a little different. There's that one that we replaced, still a little crispy, so we're going to be a little cautious with that. So I probably should have let that soak a little longer, but as always, I'm usually in a hurry trying to get something done. And I would say with the dyed stuff, hot water and a little longer than you normally would, so that it's more supple. As much as that's going to go, I think. So I'm going to bring this around to the end, and then I am going to tie this off, I think, by wrapping it. So I'm looking for the beginning, which is right there. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to grab my jerk string. I'm right-handed, so I want the knot to the left. Nope, I want the knot to the right, sorry, because I'm going to pull it through this way. And I don't want the knot stopping it. Sorry. So I'm going to lay that down. Always important to have a couple jerk strings weight, because once you're using the spindle and all your nylons on that, you can't stop to get one. So, something to consider. I just want a couple jerk strings. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this about 4 times, I think. So you notice when I go around, I'm giving a tug and tighten it up. You should be able to play the banjo. Or the bass, I guess. Alright, so that's good, I think. And I'm back around here to my loop. So I'm going to hold on to that tension, cut my string, and I'm going to feed the end of that through my loop. Just like that. I'm still holding on to that tension. Come over here to my jerk string and pull it through. Okay, so then I want to tighten it up on something. Doesn't matter what. And then you want to trim this down. So I flip up my handy dandy little multi-use spindle, broom spindle. What I do is I use that X-Acto, I push down on it, and I can pull those right up. So I got some leftovers from the natural too. I'm banging the camera pole here. So you see how that comes off there real easy? And if these bottom ones would have been soaked better, they would be coming off easier too. So it really behooves you to take the time to soak that broom corn, for especially this dyed stuff, in hot water, all the stem, not just part of the stem, for about a half an hour. And there you have it. It is an upgraded broom for the harvest. How's that? I don't know if it'll fly, but you sure can try. When that dries, I'm going to pop that off. And I got a little bit of... So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stitch this down. It's my next step in the broom. But doesn't that look cool? Those different shades and then the natural in it. And then that's, I don't know if that made a big difference in the bottom or not, but I had to try it. Alright, so what I do to hold this all together while I'm stitching it is I take a rubber band and a piece of reed, just so that holds it nice for me while I am stitching. Hey, it's Jill. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and like our videos and subscribe. That way you're always updated on anything basket related that we have on our Jill Choate Basketry channel. You won't miss a thing. Please like us and subscribe. See you next time.